Heyo peeps on the other side of the screen, it's your girl Animated Mo5 and I'm back with another video. If you could already tell, I posted this video, the speed paint, already, but that video is not the same as this one because this one has my uncut commentary, so I hope you enjoy that. Now, if you aren't familiar with mixed dimensions, fair. You know, I did post an animatic with these characters and another speed paint on my channel with these characters. But if you don't know what it is a TV show, or I guess I should say it's an idea for an animated TV show that I created back when I was like 12, 13 years old. So actually it's almost been like a decade since I first conceived this show, because I guess I'm almost 22, so that's kind of crazy to think. Where's my voice going? Oh my goodness. These characters are really near and dear to my heart because these characters and this idea to create this TV series came from a time when I was really getting into animation, and it was when I was watching shows like Danny Phantom and Avatar: The Last Airbender and Kim Possible, and then that just, just rolled into me getting into superheroes like Spider-Man and The Flash and Justice League, Avengers, and then moving on and seeing new animated TV series like Steven Universe and Regular Show and at Gravity Falls, and it sparked I created the show during a time when animation sparked such a creative drive in myself that I wanted to create a story that was just unabashedly me. And this is kind of what's become of it. And I won't lie, I pulled a lot of aspects from those TV series I mentioned, and you'll probably see them, and there's like a great sense of, oh, you copied them. And you know what? Copying is a form of flattery. I think as long as you're not ripping off something, then it's okay. But if you're not familiar, the person on the lower left side of the screen, the one who's reaching out her hand the furthest, is Jenny. She's the main character. She's kind of like my alter ego. Next to her with the cell phone is Mia, her best friend. And last but not least, we have Peter on the lower right, and he's reaching for his glasses. And you also might be wondering, where'd you get these names? And I can't really tell you. I kind of just came up with these names randomly, and they just stuck with me ever since then. And even like the show Mixed Dimensions, the name of the show is not something I created personally, but my best friend made up after I told her the plot of the story. First of all, red alert, you will be like, that's been done before. And I'm just gonna say, yes, it has, because the plot is Jenny got stuck in an experimental dimensional vortex machine that allows people to go into different dimensions, and her friend Peter was working on it because Peter is an intern at a science lab. And what ends up happening is she decides to help him. And you might be wondering, how did she get clearance? Well, also her mom works at that science facility, and Jenny is the only person who's like short enough and small enough to help them and to fit into, to help them with the part that they need to get in. And so she ends up helping them. The machine accidentally gets turned on while she's working on it. And then her DNA gets mixed with a bunch of DNA from the different creatures within like the different dimensions. And she ends up forming energy-based golden beam and golden colored powers. She gets super ability, she gets like super speed, super strength, maybe some accelerated healing, that kind of stuff. And so in that sense of it, I wouldn't say it's like the most original thing. But I also deeply wanted to make this show very inspired on my life in terms of the struggles I went through going through high school and what I saw other people going through while they were going through high school. And you know, this like the idea of pressure growing up, figuring out who you are, and you know, that's stuff that has been done before. I think for me, lately I've been kind of coming to a conclusion that I no longer want to hold on to this show by myself. Like, I feel like I need to do something with it. I need to let it go, because it's not that I don't want it to be mine anymore, because I know that once I make it into something, whether it be a comic or an actual anime TV series, then I'm releasing it to this world. And I think I really want to do that, because I am getting older now, and as much as I love retreating back into this world of characters, when I first created the show, my intention was to make it into a show that made me just as excited about animation as the shows I mentioned earlier did for me. And I wanted to also make it so that other people could be excited and learn some things about themselves, like I did with the shows that I loved before as well. And I really hope that in the future I'll keep developing this, and you will most likely see a lot more speed paints of these characters, because, you know, I'm not done drawing them. I'm not done using them and doing stuff with them. And this show is just such a big part, I feel like, of who I am, and I've put so many aspects of myself within them that I'm excited. It makes me excited. I will admit, though, that sometimes I am not the best when it comes to keeping deadlines, because I've realized after watching a video from The Odd Ones Out that he came out recently that I'm not disciplined enough. I found that, like, as much as I kept being that person that said I need motivation in order to do this, in reality, I think I need discipline to sit down and tell myself, we're gonna work on this. I may not feel the most creative right now, but we're gonna work on it and see where it goes. And lately I've been working on myself and trying to figure out how can I make it so that I become more disciplined. And so I'm still working on that stuff, but I hope that I'm able to put out some things with this show. Like, I'm hoping that I can make it so that this show really becomes something. And I hope that you're there to see it. But I guess, like, very quickly, if I were to describe Jenny, she is very emotional. But that can be a good and a bad thing, you know? She's a really good friend, she's really loyal, she's very understanding, but also she tends to be a bit selfish because she gets in her own head sometimes. And then you have Mia, her best friend, who's very sassy, very snarky. She doesn't take attitude from anyone, but she is willing to give out attitude. She's willing to give out attitude to other people. She can be lazy and a bit selfish, but overall she comes through and she's a really good friend. And then Peter, I would describe him as, he's very stoic. He doesn't show his emotions, but in many ways that's a good thing. He can be a hard person to read, but at the end of the day, he is very reliable. You know, he's very helpful, and he wants the best for people, especially the people around him, and he wants to make sure that he can do what he can to help out. And so now that we've come to the end of this video, I just want to say I hope you guys are liking these characters. You're gonna see more of them, and thank you for watching. Remember, guys, life is worth living. I'm glad I get to spend it with you all, and I'll see you in the next video.